We talking about sports, get ball.
What it do, baby?
Yeah, we're back, baby. The number one podcast in your headphones. After a little hiatus from parental leave, Creme Brulee, the number one podcast in your headphones, is back. And before we get to it, let's pay some bills, baby. This episode of the Creme Brulee podcast is brought to you by Sleep Atto Photography, a boutique photo studio in Asbury Park, New Jersey. From cinematic stills, unique and classic wedding and elopement photos, even thub-stopping product or commercial photography like you see for the Creme Brulee brand, Sleep Atto is a full-service studio. So visit their Instagram or website, that's at Sleep Atto, SleepAttle, or sleepattle.com, and treat your eyes to something nice. The number one photographer for the number one podcast in your headphones, you already know.
Nice.
My dude Thomas. Go check out Sleep Atto. All right, you number one podcast listeners. I know I've had you wait a little long. You already know the reason why. New baby on board here in the Bott household. But nonetheless, we're back. Creme Brulee. And it was only right I was joined by my cousin, my big bro, Roshan. He motivated me to get, it's time to come back. So thank you for that, bro.
You're welcome, man. And it's Uncle Roche to you, man.
Uncle Roche, amen. Uncle Roche is here. He's my cousin, but he's my son's uncle. It's just how it is.
Nobody cares about you anymore. It's all about the son now.
Damn right. In my best Heisenberg voice.
Goddamn right.
And yeah, paternity leave, man. That's a good excuse.
I said when we recorded that episode 100, me and my wife, we were going to go on a little hiatus because I wanted to be fully present. But now we're starting to get somewhat of a routine, subject to change. So we thought it was time to come back, and you're the motivating factor. So shout out to you for that. We got a lot to discuss.
Yeah,
so
man, let's get to it.
Without further ado, I think we should get to it. Yeah, him or nah. And we're going to keep up with the word association, especially because we have a couple months of sports stuff to get through. So I'm going to give you a little background. That might be a bigger build-up than our word association that goes with it. But nonetheless, we're here for the people. So we got to recap, you know?
Let's do it.
Just in case your only sports news comes from us. Okay. NFL season. It wrapped up. The Los Angeles Rams defeated the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56, 23-20. The halftime, greatest one I've seen in my lifetime, I feel. You know, you had Dr. Dre, Snoop, Eminem, 50 Cent with a surprise visit, Mary J. Blige. It was fantastic, nostalgic, all that. Anyway, close game, great game. Two of the hottest teams in the playoffs made it. And my word association for this, it's more of a phrase, and it's I know nothing. These two teams made me question every single thing I thought I knew about football. The Rams, for one, said fuck it to draft picks and won it all. On the other hand, the Bengals said fuck it to an offensive line and made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, there was no greater indication that we know fucking nothing. I was over here thinking about draft picks, mock drafts, like what they should do. They should have drafted Penei Sewell. I was very wrong about that. Jamar Chase helped them get to that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Sure, it did cost them in the Super Bowl because if Joe Burrow had one more second with some better blocking, then he might have got a ball to Jamar Chase to win the game. But nonetheless, I digress. Your word or phrase for the Super Bowl, Roche.
My word or phrase for the Super Bowl, I'm gonna attribute it to the halftime show, and I'm just gonna go with Crip Walk. These guys really Crip walked at the Super Bowl, and Snoop, sparked a blunt behind the stage. It was pretty iconic. But as far as the Super Bowl goes, I loved it. Loved the playoffs. The whole playoffs were so great.
Yep.
Every game was fantastic, and the Super Bowl was a nice little cherry on top of that Sunday.
Agreed. That kind of leads us into the NFL offseason. All this has been recent, but the trades, the signings left and right, this is like the offseason we've all hoped would happen. Every other offseason seems like it's all hype, but this one has been on some NBA level movement. The NFL draft still hasn't even happened, and we're barely going to talk about that today because we got so much to discuss. But a couple headlines just quickly. Tom Brady, in the time we last recorded, retired and unretired. More on that later. The AFC West is now stacked beyond anything you can imagine. The Raiders added Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones. The Broncos traded for Russell Wilson. The Chiefs, less so. They didn't need as much, but they added Juju Smith-Schuster. The Chargers revamped their defense. They added Khalil Mack to pair with Joey Bosa and got the premier corner on the market in J.C. Jackson, taking advantage of their rookie contract, Justin Herbert, right now. So my word for this is carousel. We're going to talk more about that later, but specifically the QB carousel, it's wild, and we got to talk about that later. How about you?
I'm going to give my word to your AFC West rundown, and it's televised. I need every division game on TV. Yeah. That division is a bloodbath. It's gonna be a lot of good football, if you ask me.
It's gonna be wild. Like, not all of them are gonna make the playoffs. It's really difficult because they're just gonna beat each other.
Yeah.
But I mean, they conceivably could now with an extra wild card pick. All 4 of them make it.
Yeah.
So when previously you couldn't do that, obviously, when in the 6-team format. But I'm fascinated to see how this goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yep. Okay, we're doing pretty good so far. On to the MLB. They also had a lot happen. They went on strike. It got resolved. The season should be delayed, but only slightly. It was looking dire for a while there, but there was a few hangups on different things. It seemed like, to their credit, the MLB Players Association was really focused on the up-and-coming players, like the starting players. Despite all these experienced guys having all this money, they seem to really be hung up on protecting their younger players, which kudos to them. And also check yourself if you ever find yourself siding with owners or a league over players.
Yeah.
Just check yourself. And we've talked about it before, but that's all I'll say. There were some big signings. I don't want to ruin anything for later, but little preview, obviously. The Hoes are actually mad. We might be the Hoes right now because Carlos Correa is a Minnesota Twin. Sounds weird. We are the Hoes right now. A few other moves. Corey Seager went from the villain Dodgers to another villain Texas Rangers. I guess he's destined for that. Trevor Story went from Colorado to Boston. Chris Bryant went from San Francisco. He had got traded mid-year, and now he's a Colorado Rocky. And Freddie Freeman went from the Atlanta Braves, very likable guy, to now the evil empire that is the frickin' Dodgers. So just a few. There's a lot more moves that happened, but didn't want to spend too much time on it. Yeah. You got a word for this?
Crying. My word's crying.
I like that one.
That's the only one I care about. I'm just crying, man.
Mine's a phrase. I'm going to go with "We are the Hoes." Yeah, we are actually mad.
We are the Hoes, and we are crying. And we're mad.
Yeah. And just to go over it, we're going to talk a little bit later, some NBA, but NBA season's still ongoing, obviously. Surprise, surprise, we're going to talk LeGod James, LNH. You already know the vibes. LeBron needs help. We're going to talk a little college football, just recap things, put a bow on it, because last time we had a sports episode was right before all that happened. But I think that kind of wraps up things. We're going to talk a little March Madness later, too, so don't worry about that. You number one podcast listeners, we got you covered. Without further ado, little hiatus. You know what we came here for. Let's hit that "You Played Yourself" intro, baby.
I'm petty as hell.
And
I'm super petty.
here we
Petty Le Pew.
go.
That's right. I'm a new dad, but I'm still spicier than ever. Have no fear, you number one podcast listeners. My blood pressure still raises over sports, and we won't disappoint you. We hope, right, Rosh?
We won't. A little hiatus, a big "You Played Yourself."
Amen. Amen. Okay, so first up, we got to give this to the football GOAT, Tom Brady, and TV networks. You played yourself. This man, Tom Brady, this man announced his retirement in order to spend time with his family and lasted a whole 40 days. This man got so tired of picking his kids up from school or going to the grocery store that he said, nah, you know what? Football sounds better. I'm going to get hit for a living one more season. And he's trying to convince us he's got something to prove. Come on, Tom. And then a bonus, you played yourself, to all the TV networks and people across sports world that offered heartfelt dedications to the guy, only for him to turn around and tell you all to play yourselves because he returned to the Bucks. after all these dedications to him, just said, nah, just kidding.
So, congratulations. You played yourself.
What you got anything to add here, Roche?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're putting him on You Played Yourself, but for the record, we're recording this on your brother's birthday, and he has been known to zag a few times in his life. So in honor...
Yeah, happy birthday, V.
Happy birthday. And in honor of him, I'm going to go ahead and zag because I don't think he belongs on You Played Yourself because, I mean... At the end of the day, I kind of like it because I saw it coming. He basically saw that his division sucked like complete ass, and that his path to another Super Bowl appearance only involves pretty much beating Aaron Rodgers, which he's done before. So he hit that LFG button, and how good is his social media team? Like all the things that he does, like constantly, I'm like, man, this is entertaining. He's really good. His team is great. Yeah. So I'm gonna disagree with you and say he did not play himself. He did what I pretty much expected him to do here.
That's true. That is true. A lot of people expected him to not retire because he always said he's gonna play till 45, and he's like one season short of that.
But the TV networks, the TV networks definitely did play themselves. They spent a lot of time. For it. They spent a lot of time.
Yeah. You brought up a good point, though. The NFC South, just a quick rundown here. Very surprised if the Bucs don't go 6-0 in their division. The other quarterbacks in their division are Sam Darnold, Marcus Mariota, and Jameis Winston. If the Buccaneers cannot go 6-0 in that division, that would be a very, very big upset. So let's just keep that in mind. Yeah. There would be no debate about him, Tom Brady, playing himself if they lose a single division game. Okay.
No doubt.
So we each got ourselves one that's going to really piss us off. So let's get the smaller ones out of the way so that we truly build suspense for you number one podcast listeners. We promised this earlier. You Played Yourself goes to the LA Lakers. First of all, LeBron needs help. LNH, you know the vibes. Everyone tried to tell them. I mean, if I'm being honest, I didn't think it would be this bad. They're in the 9th, 10th seed. They're lucky there's a play-in tournament, the same play-in tournament LeBron
pretty much
complained about a few years ago, is probably giving himself a playoff appearance. You Played Yourself to the Lakers. Such a poorly constructed team. They penny pinched in weird spots that hurt their defensive efficiency. In exchange to supposedly get this offense that now we know doesn't work. Their best move was getting Malik Monk on a
veterans minimum,
very discounted deal somehow. They're not going to be able to keep him. So, I mean, it needs to be blown up, but You Played Yourself to the Lakers. One of the worst. What a waste of a truly amazing 19th season by LeBron James.
Dude, he's about to win. He's about to win the scoring title.
Yeah,
which he's never done.
Phenomenal.
He's about to win the scoring title, and they're not even close to sniffing a contending semblance of a team. It's embarrassing. It's fucking awful. It's like impossible to watch. And Lakers are always on TV, so I'm like, okay, maybe this one will be different. And then literally by the second quarter, I'm like, I gotta get this, get this shit off my TV.
Yeah,
it's awful.
Yep.
I feel like I can play better defense than half that team, but whatever.
Absolutely. It's just simply effort. And it's cool to see LeBron. Yeah. LeBron's proving to all you haters, by the way, you LeGod James haters, he could have won a scoring title any season he wanted to.
He just has to turn on the switch.
And this just proves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It proves it. It's like that one game in Miami where he said, if I shot that many times, I could score 60 points, and went and did it the very next game. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, and it's still amazing to see LeBron haters out there, by the way. I'm close to having to call you out.
Especially because it's like the whole natural scoring thing, and he's not a natural scorer. He just passed Karl fucking Malone, second all-time scorer, and he just we have to appreciate on this podcast, anything petty. He realizes this season is basically a bust, so he made it his personal mission to win the scoring title, and I respect the petty. But
Amen.
As far as and the Lakers did play themselves, but lead GM is at fault a little bit. If the Russ stuff is true, but most importantly, we cannot talk about the Lakers without mentioning Anthony Davis. Can someone hire this man,
Tony,
a fucking nutritionist and a fucking trainer who can take care of this man's Kleenex tendons. I'm sick of seeing this dude on the bench. I can't
This man
stand
needs
it.
a TB12 method, I think.
He needs
Tony
to go
Davis.
on a TB12. Yeah, TB12 method. Boy needs to go vegan. Do some yoga. I don't know what he needs to do, but whatever he's doing is not working.
Yep. A few other ones before we get to the serious. A couple You Played Yourself Hall of Fame members found their way. Of course, we get back to regular sports, and here they are. You Played Yourself Hall of Fame member number 1, Jim Harbaugh. This man really tried to take a job in the NFL. He took meetings, assumed he was getting a job only for the Vikings to turn him down, then proceeded to come back to Michigan, lost his offensive coordinator to the same position at Miami, Florida, by the way. Not to a promotion. He took a lateral move just to get out of there from Jim Harbaugh. So he lost his offensive coordinator, and then he's trying to convince us all that Ann Arbor is where he wants to be for the long haul. On top of that, so Jim Harbaugh in his few years in Michigan has been known to take his team like abroad to different countries. Yeah, pretty cool for the team. This year, he decided, as we open up travel and all that, he decided to take his trip with his team around Michigan. Trying to overcompensate here, Jim? Do you also drive a really large truck that's really loud, Jimbo? Yeah, you try to convince us. We'll see you in fucking November, baby. Can't fucking wait. In my best Bart Scott voice.
Yeah, you got to hit that Bart Scott.
Can't wait.
Next, You Played Yourself Hall of Fame member Aaron Mr. Immunized Rodgers. This man claimed initial estimations of his new $50 million a year contract were incorrect, saying, yes, he is returning to the Packers, but the numbers reported are incorrect, only for him to turn around and sign that exact number. He got a contract, a 3-year extension for $150 million. Doesn't take a math wizard to figure out what that average is. And here's my issue, because I never have a problem with a player getting paid. I'm 100% for it. Not our job to question what someone's willing to pay a person. Go get your dough. These people aren't looking after you. If you're not good anymore, they're not going to pay you anymore. So get paid while you can. But Aaron Rodgers, you especially, don't tell us you're doing things to help your team get better when your deal directly inhibits that. You want to be able to sign other people, then don't tell us you're signing a deal that allows that. Your deal directly is inhibiting getting more talent on your team. If you're concerned about money, great. You should be. That's your right. But don't have it both ways here, because there is a salary cap in the NFL, and when you take more, it's less for your team to accumulate talent. There's no other way around it. That's just the facts. You should get paid what you feel you deserve, but don't tell us the other way around.
Yeah, and old buddy over here is always sandbagging his team for not putting the right pieces and throwing the defense under the bus, throwing receivers under the bus. He's one of the worst ones at that. He needs to take a few notes from New England Tom Brady and take those pay cuts where he can, because this type of shit, and not to mention holding the entire fucking team hostage, ended up costing him fucking Devontae Adams. I'm sure Devontae Adams, one of his biggest reasons why he was like, I'm out of here, is because this dude is hamstringing the team. And he's like, well, Green Bay ain't going to pay me. They're franchise tagging me because they're paying this fucking guy $50 million. So he's like, whatever, I'm just going to go have fun. I'm just going to go to Vegas, play in an offense where Derek Carr does throw the ball a lot, and, just ball out and get my own stats and get paid.
They have a rapport.
Yeah. And now he's the highest paid receiver in the league.
Yep. He got exactly what he wanted by moving
deservedly
to Las Vegas.
Yeah, deservedly so, the highest paid. He's been balling for 3-4 years, and they want to franchise tag him? Crazy.
That's my thing. If you want to get paid, you're not dumb, okay? Don't act like you're trying to make your team better while getting the most money by a quarterback. We're not fucking dumb here.
For sure.
Just miss me with that shit, Hall of Fame member of
also,
You Played Yourself.
Mr. Aaron Rodgers is also on an official get fucked alert, because if he can't get to the Super Bowl now, he's never going to do it. That NFC is a wasteland. He should be 15-2 at the end of the year. If he's so good, he needs to be 15-2, walk into the playoffs, and steamroll every team except the NFC Championship. And that should be the only game he really has to play all year.
He's got 2 teams conceivably in his way. Now that Tom Brady's back, the Bucks and the defending Super Bowl champs. because any
For
other
sure.
team he should be able to beat, if not demolish. More on my alleged
Absolutely.
favorite team later, but we'll get to him. First, I wanted to talk about Deshaun Watson. You played yourself goes to the Browns for trading for Deshaun Watson. We felt like we need, I wanted to address this, and you played yourself because I felt it was appropriate. Not only did they trade for Deshaun Watson, they gave him a new contract. So just a little background here. Back on March 11th, a grand jury declined to indict Watson on criminal charges related to harassment and sexual misconduct. Watson still faces 22 civil lawsuits, many of those women alleging sexual misconduct and assault. As you all may or may not recall, Watson did not play last year. He did get paid by the Texans, but never dressed for a game. I think he was barely in the facility. They essentially paid him to stay away while this was all going on. Mm-hmm. Watson, for his part, maintains his innocence. And we'll see what happens with these civil suits. There's more to come here, but he won't be criminally charged. So then started this whole basically onslaught of teams trying to trade for him. The Texans made it known that they're trying to trade Watson away. That era was over in their history. Kudos to them and all that. All these teams were vying for Watson. It's worth noting he's absolutely a fantastic player on the field. No one can deny how dynamic he is on the football field. A lot of this has to do with off the football field. So hence why we're on You Played Yourself. But anyway, back to the background. After he was not criminally indicted, then all these teams tried to essentially pitch for him to come there because he has a no trade clause. He could essentially have a say in where he goes. Anyway, Cleveland was out, and then all of a sudden it was announced that they were the ones acquiring Watson, made a late push for it. So the trade details. Watson and a 6th-round Texans pick were traded to Cleveland in exchange for first-round picks for the next 3 drafts, a 4th-round pick in this year's draft, a 3rd-round pick in next year's draft, and another 4th-round pick in the 2024 draft. So basically, a first-round pick plus a 3rd or 4th in the next 3 drafts go back to the Texans in exchange for Watson and the 6th this year. Watson then signed a new fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million deal with the Browns, making it the largest contract and most guaranteed money in NFL history. Yes, this is still the player who is facing 22 civil lawsuits for sexual misconduct and assault. That same one is now the highest paid player in NFL history. Also included in the deal, and a major reason why this is a You Played Yourself, the Browns made it so that Watson's base salary was just $1 million for the next year. This was no doubt an effort for potential impending suspension for Watson, meaning when you're suspended, you don't get paid your base salary. So by making their base salary lower, he won't lose as much money. There's no other way around it. This is directly for that purpose, so that Watson gets the most of this astronomically large deal that he signed with the Browns. So already, right off the bat, You Played Yourself, Cleveland.
Very.
So afterwards, the Browns released a statement from their owners, Dee and Jimmy Haslam, claiming they did their due diligence before acquiring Watson. They claimed they talked to women. The women were part of Watson's defense team, so his lawyers. Worth noting, the lawyers for the 22 women that have civil lawsuits against Watson were not contacted by the team, according to those lawyers. Okay, number one podcast listeners, let's get something straight. If you have to release a statement about a player before acquiring him or her, it's probably a dumb fucking move. If you have to explain a move before you've made it, it's probably not a move you want to make. I'm sick and tired of these teams claiming that they give a shit about causes when they constantly prove the opposite. The Browns recently posted about Women's History Month in March. They're going to wear pink in October probably. My cause, my cleats, all that stuff. But here you are breaking the fucking bank like no one's broke the bank before in NFL history for this man. If y'all care about the football product so much, don't bullshit us with this nonsense acting like you care about anything or anyone else. Miss me with that bullshit. Because you clearly don't. You only care about a football product because that's what you're proving here. You played yourself, Cleveland. I don't fault any of the fans for up and leaving. They're constantly telling you how much they don't value women, all these causes they claim to support. Nah, the bottom line is they want to win on the football field, and they're going to look past any of that other shit in order to win football games.
And as long as you can play, it's just like, you know, how many times have we seen this story before? And I mean, I'm kind of sick and tired of bringing up Kaepernick as the guy, but I mean, it's hard not to. But it's just like, if you could still play, if he could still ball, if he was still an elite quarterback, there's no reason why he wouldn't have a job if it was anything else other than what he did. You know what I mean? But it's like the message that they send when they do this kind of shit is just like, it's gross. It's like very negligent of society, of like what you're trying to teach. The message you send to young kids who idolize players. Essentially, 22 women are accusing Watson of something, and you're telling me that just because he's not going to be charged in a court of law, and where there's smoke, there isn't fire, and there's actually $230 guaranteed $1 million waiting for you to just continuously get away with whatever you did or did not do in that time in those allegations. You can continue to do that. What message does it send him, who is still pretty fucking young? He's like 24, 25. Yep. He now knows he can probably get away with fucking anything. What message does it send you for the rest of this dude's life that he's going to be, you know, in possession of $230 guaranteed $1 million and a lot of power? He's the face of a franchise. He's one of 32 jobs in the world. That he's the face of a franchise. He's going to be marketed. He's going to be, you know, his name and likeness or whatever are going to be made money off of. They're going to sell jerseys out the ass with not a dollar going to any domestic abuse, any sexual harassment, anything. None of that shit. No one's learned a fucking thing. They never do. Ever. And it's the same song and dance with every fucking team in the NFL. They continuously do shit like this and send the wrong message. And yeah. Also, going back to that $1 million base salary, that is so gross because I'm sure the NFL has to approve these kind of deals. They have to approve the trade. They have to approve everything that goes through. So they were like, Roger Goodell himself was over here like, yeah, that's cool. 22 cases against him. But Calvin Ridley can't even place a $1,500 bet without getting suspended for a fucking entire season. That is insane. Unreal. The whole thing is disgusting.
There's no like potential suspension that's going to seem enough either. So when that news breaks, like however many games Deshaun Watson gets, that's not going to be enough. They're constantly proving all these these brave women coming forward. They're constantly proving why that process is so hard. Why people hesitate to come forward at all. Because here you are, this guy is getting rewarded for it. Not only is he not indicted, which fine, everybody has due process in this country, but he's getting rewarded for it on top of that.
Yep. And if the NFL really wants to send a message, you know, I don't know what language is in the contract about this, but maybe they don't suspend him for the first year. Maybe they stall for the entire season, and in the offseason they're like, we're going to hand him down an eight game suspension and really stick it to him because I'm sure they're hearing plenty about that right now, and that is not a PR hit that they should be taking after everything. I mean, come on. But you know they won't. That's too smart of a thing for them to do, so they're not going to do that.
Too easy.
It makes too much sense. Yeah.
All right. We're on to the main event. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll let you go first so you can calm down. I'm definitely not going to yell as much as you, so I'll let you yell, and then I'll kind of bring the volume down a little bit.
you got like a quiet.
But it's a co-headline spot. It's a co-headline spot, just for the record.
You got it.
You number one podcast
You got a quiet
listeners.
rage about your topic. So okay,
for sure.
You number one podcast listeners. we're each going to go on a little elongated rant here. Back to more of the sports field here, pivoting back to that after a very serious matter we felt like we should talk about. Anyway, we're going to wrap up You Played Yourself.
Also, apologies in advance. Apologies in advance, everybody.
Apologies in advance. Yeah.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
You played yourself. You knew it was coming. The Dallas Cowboys front office, Jerry and Stephen Jones, who I'm convinced are going to cause me pain for the entirety of my life and the entirety of my fanhood. These fucking idiots. First, they traded away Amari Cooper for a 5th-round pick. You heard that correctly, a 5th-round pick. Next, they released Lyle Collins, their starting right tackle. They botched a re-signing of Randy Gregory, who has since claimed that the front office acted in bad faith. The Cowboys did re-sign Michael Gallup, who is coming off a late-season torn ACL, multiple consecutive years of being injured in some form or fashion. They chose to reward that player, but trade away their guy who's been there and dependable, but okay. They then franchise tagged a mediocre tight end in Dalton Schultz.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, I'm just so fucking tired. I'm tired, man. I'm tired, Rosh. I'm so fucking sick of Stephen Jones and the whole Jones family. I cannot fucking stand them. I'm going to have to deal with 17 games of them panning over to that fucking luxury suite while they cheese all over the place. They constantly ruin these off seasons. They're constantly fucking things up beyond repair. Beyond fucking repair. They're so allergic to prosperity, they can't even win an off season, let alone a fucking playoff game. Allergic to prosperity, this team. You're never going to see them succeed in the playoffs because they can't get out of their own goddamn way. First,
in a relatively cupcake division, too.
Cupcake division.
It's easy to make the moves that they can make the moves to become a real fast
Great, you got a
fast.
fucking t-shirt for NFC East Championship. What has that gotten you since fucking 1995? Who gives a shit? Who gives a flying fuck that you won your sorry-ass division but don't win a fucking playoff game? You can't beat a inferior 49ers team who wanted to give you the game. You can't beat them. They beat you the exact way they told you they were going to beat you. The exact fucking way. And that's how you lose. And yet, you want to continue this. You're so pissed off you didn't get a Super Bowl. So what do you go and do in the offseason? You get decidedly worse. You elect to get decidedly worse. Amari Cooper and Lyle Collins were under contract. You did not have to get rid of them. For those of you not familiar with the salary cap, there are a lot of things you can do to convert salaries to create salary cap room. The Cowboys had multiple available contracts to do just that. Basically, anyone who's getting paid anything on their roster could have been converted except for Ezekiel Elliott, whose contract is stupid. Yet another example of Jerry and Stephen Jones messing shit up. They decided to pay their running back $90 million in an awful contract when he was pouting in Cancun for a new contract. You reward him. But here we are letting talented players go for fucking nothing. But anyway, first, let's go back to Amari Cooper. Like I said, under contract, a very productive wide receiver. I know you think he's mediocre, but the numbers seriously do not lie that he is very productive wide receiver one. Your cap situation was manageable because you can get under it by reworking contracts. Instead, you decide you want to trade him, but then go and keep the guy who's been injured every year in Michael Gallup. I get that you believe in CeeDee Lamb. You just spent a first-round pick on him. But do you know who else you spent a first-round pick on just 3 fucking years ago? Amari fucking Cooper. You traded the Raiders a first-round pick just 3 years ago, and you're comfortable losing him to a team for a fifth-round pick. That is what you call god-awful asset management. That's almost comical. It's almost comic. I don't think Madden would let you make that trade. The AI on a video game wouldn't let you be as stupid as the Jones family. Dak doesn't develop into the quarterback he is without Amari Cooper. I don't know how many of you remember that, but they traded for him midseason, and Dak's production shot up. He did much better. You only get a fifth back after that. Next, Lyle Collins. A first-round talent. A guy you developed in Dallas. He's still got a ton of career ahead of him. He's in his 20s. A lot of people felt you could get a first-round pick for him, if not a 2 for him. The team that he wound up on, the Bengals, they picked late first. I had multiple Bengals fans telling me, oh, I'd give up 31 for Lyle Collins. I'd give up our 31st overall pick for him. Okay, fine. You don't get that. A late second. Great. Cowboys fans, how does nothing sound for him?
So, congratulations.
Does that sound good?
You played yourself.
And Roche, ask me what contract he signed in Cincinnati.
So what was the contract he signed in Cincinnati?
The exact fucking same contract. $10 million a year is what he's getting paid in Dallas. They released him.
Interesting.
He's getting paid $10 million a year in Cincinnati. You're telling me you couldn't have got on the phone, called Cincinnati, give me an offer for him? No. I'd rather lose him for nothing. Those compensatory picks, those would be great. Oh, wait. You don't get a comp pick for a guy you release. So what the fuck are you doing? Next up, Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory, whom you sat through suspension after suspension as he worked to get his life in order. Kudos to him. Not kudos to the NFL for punishing for weed, which they no longer do. Whatever. Randy Gregory finally lives up to his potential. You cash in on your investment and all of your patience you showed in him for him to have a fantastic season. Then, when it's time to pay up, you act on bad faith to the point where, let's break this down just logically, right? Because he got offered the same contract by the Denver Broncos, who he's now a member of, as the Dallas Cowboys. Why on earth, if you're thinking logically, would a player who's lived in the same city, presumably has a house in Dallas, no state tax, has roots in the city he's been in for the first period of his career, why would a person who's gotten offered the same amount of money leave? So if you find yourself backing the Cowboys in their front office that they didn't act in bad faith, let's use logic here and not play yourself. This man left for a reason. They had to have fucked shit up. And let's look at the track record. We're talking about Jerry and Stephen Jones. What benefit of doubt do they get? Just look at their fucking offseason. It is absolutely believable that they royally fucked this up to the point where they manage to get their talented player offended, a person who they've invested so much time in. How could you be that bad to get someone that offended that quickly? Because you're a fucking idiot. That's why.
For sure.
He signed in Denver for the exact same terms for a fucking reason. And, I'm going to close with this thought. A lot of these moves happened because of this crazy strategy that Dallas employs. What I want to know is, it's kind of rhetorical here. What school of thought does it come from when a front office publicly lets out that they'll release a player if they can't find a trade partner? On what goddamn planet does that make sense if you're trying to maximize your return? Telling people that if you can't find a trade partner, you'll release him eliminates all of the leverage you have. Why on earth would you let that information out? Why on earth would you tell a Cincinnati Bengals team that you're going to release Lyle Collins if you can't find a trade partner? You found a trade partner for Amari Cooper. Do you think a fifth-round pick is enough for him? You think Amari Cooper's mediocre, Roche, right? He's not as good as advertised, right?
I think he's paid a little more than he should get paid. But he's not a bad player.
Right.
He was their best receiver. To be fair,
would you give up a better than a 5th round pick for Amari Cooper?
I would probably give up a 3rd for Amari Cooper on that contract with
given that
what
contract,
he's making.
Get it. Fine.
Given that contract and taking into consideration what premier wide receivers, a wide receiver one. I mean, bro, just look at Christian Kirk's contract that he signed.
Yeah.
You're talking about Amari Cooper is $4 or $5 million more.
Yep.
Come on.
And what I told you before, I consider a good receiver being elite at one thing at least, right? Amari Cooper's an elite route runner, like arguably one of the best in the entire league.
Facts.
So that to me, if you're going to pay like anywhere near that 20 million range, yes, I get he's 20 and that's probably more than you'd want. People are going to take Amari Cooper over someone like Christian Kirk 10 out of 10 times. You're going to take Amari Cooper over over a lot of those guys, not the top cream of the crop, obviously, but you're going to take him over a lot of guys because he's still young. And you're telling me you're a guy who's like lukewarm about him, given his contract, all that. You're even saying a 3rd for him. How on earth do the Cowboys only get a 5th for him? It's because you do this stupid ass strategy. It makes no conceivable sense. If you want to trade him, fine. We should not hear about it. I should not see it on Twitter that you're going to release him if you can't find a trade partner. It makes no fucking sense to tip your cap like that. But this is what I
have no idea why that happens.
This is what the Jones family does. They offend people with their lowball fucking offers. They just did it with Jaron Kearse, who had a career year. Luckily, they must have amended it and offered him a fair contract because he just signed. But this is the kind of bullshit that keeps teams allergic to prosperity. You don't see good teams fucking around like this. That's exactly why the Dallas Cowboys aren't a good team, because the Jones family is going to prevent them from it no matter what. They're going to do things like talk about coaching candidates while they decide to keep one in Mike McCarthy. They're going to do things like alienate the talent they developed over years and were patient for, only to fuck it up at the end. They're going to do things like say you're going to release a fucking player if you can't find a trade partner. What on earth? Nepotism is a hell of a thing, because this Jones family, you would never keep a job. If Steven's last name wasn't Jones, how on earth would he have a job? If Jerry didn't make himself GM, how on earth would he have a job? Not only would he not have a job, no one would fucking hire him. It's that bad. It's comical how bad it is. And I feel for the Cowboys fans who continue to fall for it. We keep hearing like, oh, they're linked to Bobby Wagner. They're linked to all these big free agent people. I bet you they haven't even called them because they're fucking idiots. And they are set out to make Cowboy fans miserable. And the quicker you all realize that, the quicker you accept it, it's just a better place to be. Zadarius Smith just signed with the Vikings. All these Cowboys fans were like, okay, we lost Randy Gregory. We can get Zadarius. No, the fuck you can't, because the Jones family's still in charge, and they're going to make sure.
Don't forget about Von Miller, too.
Don't forget about Von Miller. He's a Texas guy. He was linked to that. I didn't fall for any of that shit. As soon as they let Randy Gregory go to the Broncos, I said, we're not getting anyone worth noting, because they're going to keep fucking things up. And it's going to get to the point where other free agents are going to hear about it and not even want to do business with them. Because why the fuck would you? Why the fuck would you want to go to a team when it's time to get paid, they're going to fuck things up, or reward a guy who's Cancun working out, who's under contract and a running back, just to get a god-awful contract? They're going to do things like franchise tag Dak Prescott instead of pay him, only to overpay for what a lot of people thought, only to pay him a shit ton after the fact when they could have got him for less. These are the types of moves that keep teams from being great, and the Jones family continues to prove it. They're great businessmen. They know how to make money. They do not know how to win games. And sure, the Cowboys won 3 Super Bowls while Jerry Jones was the owner. Those were inherited teams. He had just bought that team. So he's proven not a fucking thing in the last 25, 30 years of him owning the team. Go ahead and fuck yourself, Jones family. I'm saying I'm in a great place right now because I'm not expecting them to sign a single player, and it's a great place to be, Cowboys fans. Don't you fall for it. Don't you start thinking players are going to come in. I didn't fall for Darius Smith. I'm not falling for Tyrann Mathieu. None of these guys. None of them.
Hold it a second. You saying nobody's coming in? I mean, I know you don't like silver lining sports fans,
yeah.
But I got a silver lining for you.
You seeing some news?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care. I'm the guest. I can do the silver lining thing, if I want. Did you know that the Cowboys signed a Houston Texans legend?
Who'd they sign? J.J. Watt, baby?
Nah, it wasn't J.J. Watt.
Okay. Who else we got?
It's not DeAndre Hopkins either. It's a Texans legend, esteemed punter Brian Anger. The Cowboys signed him through a 3-year deal.
Fuck. That's an important signing because they're going to be punting a whole fucking lot.
Yeah, and
they're
coming
Pro
from
Bowl
a Texans
punter
fan or alleged Texans fan. Yeah, he was. We used him for that too.
Yeah.
It's a sound investment, and there's a huge ROI on the way. So don't count the Jones family out yet.
We can't make this shit up, man. Oh, Brian Anger was someone that they had cut and they signed to another contract. I mean, fine. What the fuck ever. What are you going to do? They got under the cap. They ditched all this money. They got to spend it, I guess. Here we are. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Okay, that end rant. The floor is yours, Roche. Have at it. Address it for all of us.
All right. My submission to you played yourself. By the way, that was relatively tame. Being a dad has softened you up for sure. There wasn't as much yelling as I expected.
There's been a lot of acceptance on my end. Just quick backstory. My son was born earlier in the day. That night was the Cowboys playoff game against the Niners. So I think that set me on this path because I legit couldn't yell at a TV. We were in our room, baby and all, my wife and I trying to get some rest. So I was watching it on little, hospital TV, just knowing full well they would come back just a little to get my hopes up, only to shoot it down. But nothing could faze me that day, obviously. I just became a dad. So I think this set me on the path of enlightenment. Who knows? We're going to get into mid-season and I'm just going to be raising my blood pressure, waking up my son. So stay tuned alert, I guess.
Yeah, stay tuned. All right, back to my You Played Yourself. I'm going to send an official You Played Yourself to the Houston Astros front office. They failed to sign Carlos Correa, and Carlos Correa is now a Minnesota Twin of all teams. Look, man, I'm in pain. Being an Astros fan has been hard for the last few years. I mean, I know we're very successful, and we've been to 5 straight ALCSs. We've been to 3 World Series. Don't you forget. Despite losing 2, you can't say your team has gone to 3 World Series in 5 years.
Amen.
You just fucking can't.
Nope.
I talk a lot of cash shit, and I'm essentially in the same bracket as like Pats fans when Brady was there, or the 2010 Yankees fans, just arrogant, unapologetic. We're still the 2017 World Series champions, by the way.
Damn right.
I can't believe this is how this ends. Like a 1 a.m. announcement Central Time of joining the fucking Twins. Like the Twins, man. I mean, good for him for getting the contract he wanted. Just because, he had a lot of demands, and that lockout kind of fucked things over for a lot of free agents, and they wanted some stability, but people weren't giving out those big contracts anymore. So he basically put a clause in his contract saying he wants to opt out after year 1 and year 2, and I know for a fact that is the exact reason why the Astros didn't get, awarded Correa, because it wasn't, people in Houston are like, he did this for $3 more million. No, it was for disrespect. Like, this man has been in the Astro system for 10 years. We drafted him in 2012, number 1 overall pick, homegrown talent, absolute fucking monster. Good for the Twins for taking that 1-year rental risk. But yeah, that opt-out clause was the exact reason why we weren't awarded with him. And this team is stacked and ready to go. They should have rewarded him with a 1-year, run it back type deal. They did it to Justin Verlander, coming off 2 fucking Tommy John surgeries or whatever it was. And, this team is stacked, ready to go. Losing Correa is like really brutal to what this team does. He's the heart of that team. He's the defensive anchor to that middle infield. Altuve's definitely lost a step. in that arena. As much as you love him, you can't replace Correa's defense. We're replacing that defense, this elite Gold Glove defense, and a 7.2 WAR. And that's not a fucking typo that's or ridiculous. A misspoke. It's 7.2 WAR in 2021. You can't. That without him, we lose the division to the Mariners. Just for the record, we would have lost the division to the Mariners. And we're replacing him with a rookie who has 0 major league at bats and 0 gameplay. That kid has so much pressure on him, and I feel bad for him. Yeah. And I think that's going to stun his growth because this city is really pissed about losing Correa. And, back to the Twins, the Yankees hate Correa so much. And, I mean, granted, they would have loved to have Correa on his team, on their team. But the Yankees taking Josh Donaldson's salary is truly what allowed this to happen. Yeah. The nail in the Yankees' coffin was taking Josh Donaldson, and that was basically the nail in our coffin, so they can hang their hat on killing our chances to get Correa back too. Yeah. But I mean, it's just like Jim Crane and James Click as an owner and GM are just unbelievable. They've done absolutely nothing since James Click came to be the GM after Luno got fired. They were able to sign Lance McCullers to an extension, but that's only because he's extremely injury prone and it's a team friendly deal. Whatever. We had to watch George Springer walk. We had to watch Garrett Cole walk, and now we have to watch Carlos Correa walk. All of them went to AL contenders. Every single one of them. And, every team in the American League that's a contender got better. The Blue Jays got better. The Red Sox got better. The Rays got better. Every single team in our division got better, except the A's. The White Sox got better. And now the Twins got substantially better. They have a crazy middle infield now. And, they have like 3 Gold Glovers on their staff. So their defense is going to be elite. Correa is going to bring up that WAR and bring up everything you need him to bring up.
They're in a winnable division too.
Yeah. And, Correa is a guy who has stepped up in the face of the, sign stealing thing. He defended the team. He defended Altuve's name. He told people to shut the fuck up. And most importantly, he backed up 100% of his shit talk with clutch hit after clutch hit in big moment after big moment in the playoffs, in division games, all the time, constantly. And you can't reward him. 10 years in our system. Who's going to take over this team after Altuve? Who's going to be the face of this team? Like, I look on our list. They're not going to pay Bregman. If they didn't pay Springer and Correa, they're not going to pay Bregman. Can guarantee it. He is definitely injury prone. Kyle Tucker, he doesn't talk. Jordan, he doesn't talk. These guys just mash. These guys are not the face of the team. That shit is just bad for business. And, unfortunately for us, our Astros team is probably an ALDS exit away from hearing the rest of Houston call for James Click's head because that shit was awful. And it has left a really bad taste in my mouth. No shot to Correa. He got disrespected by the staff. Yeah. I saw things that they sent him the initial offer, and there was all these like rumblings of them giving him another offer, but that offer never came. And all you had to do was include an opt-out and show him some good faith and some respect. And he's here for 1 year, maybe 2 years. He said repeatedly he wants to be here. Yep. He never said he wanted to leave this team. But being disrespected and being paid what you're worth, you do it at any job. 100%. If your boss disrespects you, you're going to take a walk. So if Astros fans want to blame Correa for leaving for $3 million, do it. That's not why he left. These people are about honor and respect at the end of the day. He was going to get the money regardless. Yep. $3 million is not going to change anything. Yeah. But he makes that up for in a fucking HEB endorsement deal. Yep. Like that money is going to come. It's not about the money. You disrespect him, he's going to be like, well, fuck y'all. And I'm going to go to someone who's going to beat y'all's ass. You just be glad he didn't go to the Yankees or the Dodgers to really like stick it to us, True story. Like, I'm glad. I'll take it. Yeah. I'm a root for him.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Like you said, he's been the face of the franchise. He was the natural choice to do it. He had the personality for it. He had the team first attitude. I got goosebumps watching those highlights, and like to throw that away in a guy who's still in he might not have even reached his prime yet. That's the crazy thing.
He's 27, man.
Yeah.
He's 27.
The MLB has rewarded players younger and worse than him. And you're talking about a guy who's directly, you talked about it, like clutch hit after clutch hit. And the number one thing is, like, I feel like every star player in the Astros has gone through slumps except for Carlos Correa. This man has been consistent each playoff run. And like you said, he took everything on the chin. Like, he became the spokesperson for people hating on the Astros. And that's not a personality trait that you just find anywhere.
You can't find that. I mean, you got Lindor, you got Seager, you got Tatis. All these guys are making 10-year money on 10-year deals and stuff, and you can't convince me that they're better than Correa.
100%.
Correa deserves a 10-year deal more than any of those three guys, and Lindor is making $340 million. You can't tell me he's even half the player Correa is when it matters. He's not.
100%.
I've seen him in the playoffs. He's not.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's painful. It's going to be a weird season.
It's brutal.
It seems like it's a move that's going to usher in
it's going to come and bite them in the ass. I won't be surprised if the Twins are the one who eliminate the Astros in the playoffs. I won't be surprised.
This is another prime example. We talked about some Astros fans like wanting to blame Correa. Just when in doubt, if you find yourself siding with the ownership or like a team over a player, you're probably in the wrong boat. That's all I'm going to say here. Because, yes, I know we're arguing semantics. It's millionaires arguing with billionaires, all that stuff. A player should get paid what they're worth. And not only that, Correa is like one of the main players in all of MLB that deserves to be rewarded for all the other intangibles he brings. If there is a player out there, it's him. And they fucked it up. And it's going to be hard. I mean, I hope that new shortstop, like you said, Pena, like it seems like you want to go with like who's the shortstop on the Yankees after Jeter, but it's not even the same situation. It'd be like if Jeter left in his prime and then you had to follow him.
Yeah. You let him walk. Yeah, you let him walk.
Yep.
And it's just horrible because like the thing that I like an intangible that I can think of is like Framber Valdez was like in a jam.
Yep.
Correa took time out, playoff game, goes over to the mound and is like smacking him on the chest, gives him a pep talk. Next two pitches, we're out of the inning. You can't pay for that.
Nope.
You can't pay for that. That's not something you pay for.
That's not something you teach either. That's just inherent.
And you don't see that shit, man. I don't see that shit on the Dodgers. I don't see that shit on the Yankees, Red Sox, nobody. And that's why we got to places we got by being lesser teams. Like there was like the White Sox last year were arguably better on paper than we were, and we dismantled them in the playoffs.
Yep. 100%.
It's crazy. It sucks, man.
Yep. You played yourself. Strohs.
Biggie played yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
On that note, we're on to who you got and what you feeling. We don't really have last week picks, obviously, but I did want to give you a little bit of credit here. On a previous episode, we talked to NFL, and we talked about teams to beat in the AFC and NFC. You, my guy, did call. I think your Super Bowl prediction was Bills over Chiefs and Rams over Bucks. Shout out to you on the Rams call there. Predicting them, because this was like before they traded for Von Miller, all that stuff. So before OBJ hit his stride. So kudos to you. I wanted to shout you out for that. Obviously, no one saw the Bengals coming, so that wasn't on anyone's radar at that time.
For sure.
Another time I talked about whether the Cincinnati Bearcats could make the college football playoff, and will they? I went through the whole scenario. I didn't want to go over that again, obviously, but I did want to recap. They can, and they did. The Bearcats ended up losing, were probably overmatched to a very talented Alabama team coming off a really good SEC championship. But it seemed like a big step for them and college football for them to make it there. Hell, the Bearcats fared better than Notre Dame's history in the college football playoff.
It's the pretty boys versus the petty
and then
facts.
For what it's worth, for recap purposes, since we didn't cover the national championship, Georgia did defeat Alabama to win the national title. They got revenge for their SEC loss. what the fuck ever. Sound it.
Petty alert. Petty alert.
Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Buckeyes won the Rose Bowl and had a legendary performance by Jackson Smith and Jigba. So looking forward to this season with Stroud and him, and Jackson Smith and Jigba probably going to be on your first round draft boards come next draft, by the way. Just preparing yourself. Number one podcast listener.
Mainly
And
because
Stroud.
the
They both
Buckeyes
will.
churn. Yeah, and the Buckeyes just continuously churn out first round picks. Go Bucks.
Their wide receiver 2 this year, you might recognize the name. It is Marvin Harrison Jr. That is this
Let's go.
this episode's edition of You Are Old.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. This week, I wanted to talk a little NFL free agency, and like I promised, QB carousel. So I'm not going to recap all these moves because there's been so many. I wanted to talk NFL free agency winners. I'm going to go first. I am going to go, my free agency winner by far this offseason is the Bengals. The Bengals directly addressed their glaring need, offensive line. They signed Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, and Lyle Collins. They did so great addressing their big deficiency that now in the draft they can go best player available, and that is truly a luxury that not a lot of teams can afford. So kudos to the Bengals for making those moves. You got a free agency winner?
The Bengals are actually my free agency winner, but I will give you a free agency loser.
Okay.
It's going to be the Chiefs.
Okay.
They're going to have to play hard now all fucking year.
Yep.
You can't take 6 games off now.
Nope.
That division was pretty ass. Mahomes kind of has been handling that division. I don't know what their division record is, but it's probably like 5 losses in the last 5 years. Like, it's probably not a lot. If they're not careful this year, it could be 5 losses this year. Yep. Like, they can't do that like lazy let the other team get up in the first half type shit.
100%.
They can't do that stuff that they've been doing for 5 years, and I think that's going to make for some really good football. I mean, having Russ as your 3rd best quarterback in a division, that's pretty good division.
I can see all those.
I mean, having Derek Carr as a 4th best quarterback in most divisions says a lot. He's not bad. The guy's not
I
bad.
could see each team in that division going 3-3 in division, and then just
Exactly.
I mean, it's still a crazy fight in the rest of the AFC.
Yeah, for sure.
I like that pick, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
The NFL QB carousel. Wanted to get a move you like and a move you hate. Just a few candidates for you. Well, I mean, I guess this is all of them. Russell Wilson traded to Denver. Matt Ryan traded to Indy. Carson Wentz went from Indy to the Washington Commanders. That's a new nickname since we last recorded. Mitchell Trubisky essentially took a year off, and everybody forgot how iffy he was and got a contract with the Steelers. We already talked about Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. Jameis Winston signed a deal back to New Orleans once they were out of the Watson sweepstakes. New Orleans went back to their quarterback from last year who got hurt. I guess he's on schedule to return to start the season. Marcus Mariota went to Atlanta, and I think I covered everybody. So move you like, move you hate.
I'm going to try to pick 2 that you might not pick. But let's go with a move I don't like first.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Trubisky to Pittsburgh. I don't like it because Pittsburgh could have probably easily traded for Deshaun Watson as well. And I think that would have been a really good situation for Deshaun. Not that I care, but also, I mean, they're going from one problematic quarterback to another. So seemed like a logical move to make for Pittsburgh. I don't know what they think Trubisky's going to do there, but Mike Tomlin is a great coach, so we'll see what they do. But I don't really like that. I do like Matt Ryan to the Colts, though.
Yeah.
The AFC South is a horrible division, probably the worst in football. Very winnable division. It was winnable last year with Carson Wentz, and they still didn't do it. I don't know. Like, you're talking about Ryan Tannehill, Trevor Lawrence in his first real year. Let's be real. Like, he's been handed shitty situations for 2 straight years. Trevor Lawrence, Davis Mills and Ryan Tannehill are your guys.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan is the best quarterback, and he's like 53. Yeah. So that should work really well for them. Their defense is good. They got an amazing running back. They should draft a shit ton of wide receivers. Yep. Let T.I. Hilton take a hike, and let's go. Like, start airing that shit out.
A lot of people tying them wanting Matt Ryan to recruit his boy Julio Jones to Indy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
I like those picks. I do like Ryan to Indy.
Yeah.
I'll go with like the low hanging fruit. Russell Wilson to Denver feels like a big.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody dislikes that with the talent they have.
That's a big dub. Yeah.
And a move I don't like, but I kind of do like, I guess. It's kind of tricky. Carson Wentz to Washington. I'm so happy he's back in the division. It's going to be so much fun. I don't know.
I specifically didn't pick Wentz because I had a feeling that was going to be your answer. And I know we didn't talk about that ahead of time.
Kind of both. Like, if I'm thinking objectively, I don't like it from the Commanders standpoint. But if I'm thinking as a Cowboys fan, allegedly a Cowboys fan, I love it because he truly makes some of the most bonehead plays. I don't know how he keeps getting get chances, but here we are.
And he keeps getting traded for assets, and I'm like, why are people giving up assets for Carson Wentz?
Yeah, he's gotten traded.
Have you not seen him play for the last 5 years?
I think a 1 and 2 threes over the last couple of years. Worth noting, Baker Mayfield's still without a team. The Seahawks in that Russell Wilson trade they have Drew Lock as a quarterback. They might be a candidate. So we'll see what happens with Baker Mayfield in that. And Jimmy G also doesn't have a team right now. So they're running out of places to go. So keep an eye out for that. Okay. Then last but not least, I wanted to talk March Madness Final Four picks. So I know you're a big college basketball guy. So I'll go ahead and go first. Here are my picks by region. Obviously, we're heading into the Sweet 16. My picks to go to the Final Four. I got Gonzaga over Texas Tech, Arizona over Villanova, Purdue over UNC, and Kansas over Miami. It's kind of a cop-out. That's 3 1 seeds and a 3, but we'll see what happens. What do you got, man?
As the resident March Madness expert here and college basketball enthusiast, my 4 picks for the Final Four are Go Cougs, Go Cougs, Go Cougs, and Go Cougs.
Yeah.
What it do, baby?
Go Cougs alert.
Go Cougs, baby. I mean, we don't get a lot of chances to say Go Cougs on this podcast, so let me use that
Calvin
moment.
Sampson has that team.
He's that dude, man. I love watching that guy.
Seems like
goes to the locker room and rips his shirt off. That's amazing.
Yeah, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they for what it's worth, they're in that region with Arizona, and they play Arizona in the Sweet 16. So that would be Arizona kind of coming off a controversial win over TCU. So maybe Houston has the Cougs have an opportunity.
Yeah.
That's a little Steph's side of the family, Daly family, a whole bunch of Arizona alums, U of A, versus my side of the family, a whole bunch of U of H grads. So that's an interesting little matchup there for our household. Okay. Now, let's move on to what you feeling. You want to go first?
Let's see. What am I feeling? I am feeling Atlanta coming back next week.
Yeah.
I think it's actually tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
I think it's this week. I don't know. I don't even know. But I rewatched all of Atlanta the last 2 seasons.
Oh shit! I should go back.
And I just forgot how much happened, and it was a really easy watch. It's like 20 episodes. Feeling, I regardless of what happened with the Astros, I am feeling the Astros coming back. Baseball is always a great time of year just to like have that on TV when you get home and kind of, unwind and, same old, man. Things are popping here. Right. I might have something to tell you the next time I'm on the show.
Bet. Little Maybach music too, baby. All right.
Well, what about you, man?
You knew it was coming. My son Barrett.
Yes, I did.
Was born on January 16th. It is absolutely a level of love for my wife and son that is the best word to describe it is overwhelming. The level of love. So I think we're gonna have maybe an episode or 2 dedicated to that. Just a chance to ask some questions. It was an idea by you, so kudos to you again. Can't wait to talk about that some more. We're 9.5 weeks into the game so far, so I still don't know what I still don't know, but it's absolutely the most tiring and the best role I've ever, best job I've ever had. So, yeah, number one podcast listeners, I know a lot of you reached out and saw the posts and stuff, but it's the best what you feeling I've ever had.
Yeah, man, I can see it.
Yeah, man,
it's great. You guys have a glow about you now.
Yeah, yes, sir.
It's always a good thing.
I'm glad it's noticed. It's kind of how I feel. It feels that good.
Yeah.
But
sweet.
Anyway, we wrap up each episode a little too much sense, a little advice you didn't ask for, but I'm gonna give you anyway. So let's hit that intro, baby. All right, fam. We gotta address guilt tripping on this edition of Too Much Sense. I see too much of this. I have been so guilty of this in my past, and maybe I'm still not great at it, but guilt tripping here. The strategy not only doesn't work, it can be debilitating to the people you're doing it to and the future of your relationship with those people. Y'all number one podcasters know me. In my constant pursuit of self-improvement, one of my major improvements, I will say, to give myself credit, has been stopping the urge to guilt trip people I love. Guilt tripping is not a way to show love. It's quite the opposite, because why would you want to make someone feel guilty? Why would you want to make someone you love feel guilty? It's totally contradicting. Let's break it down. Like, if you're guilt tripping someone, if it works, you made someone feel bad to the point of doing something. So are they going to be their best self if they do show up, or whatever you're trying to guilt trip into? If they do that thing, are they going to feel good about it? Probably not. If you fail at guilt tripping them, you risk making them mad, or worse, you risk making them feel like they don't want to try anymore with you. As I reflect on my past, I think some of my guilt tripping has ended some friendships in my life. I'm grateful for those friendships who stuck around as I worked to stop doing that. Again, I'm not perfect. I'm sure I've slipped up, but I actively try to avoid guilt tripping. So my advice to you number one podcast listeners, avoid the urge to guilt trip people you love. Be understanding, find alternatives. If you slip up, apologize for mischanneling your love and urge to want them present into attempting to make them feel guilty. So that's my Too Much Sense, man.
Love that, man. That's one of your best ones. Bravo, brother. That's a good one.
Yes, sir.
I also appreciate you getting a little self-critical there. That's always the best. The best accountability. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you and I talk about that deep stuff because I know you do that too. But I also learned from you got to give yourself credit. So that is one thing I feel like I've improved on greatly is, not taking those things to heart. So that's my advice to you, number one podcast listeners. And with that wraps up our return. Mace's Welcome Back is playing, in your head. You get it? So, what, podcast listeners, I want to thank you for your patience. Obviously, I told you this was coming, this little break, but I'm hoping this will be back to regular as I start to figure out my routine as a new dad. And as always, I appreciate you, number one podcast listeners, for tuning in. Appreciate the support. You know what to do. Tell a friend.
And if you take too long, I'm going to be on that ass and tell you to get back on this microphone.
Good accountability.
And
Yeah.
There you go.
You definitely keeping me accountable. So Rosh got your back, you number one podcast listeners, even if I drop the ball here.
Well, yes, sir.
I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please share this episode, share the return, and I look forward to talking to you. Rosh, I want to thank you for being on with me and serving as the motivation to get this episode. Man. And we will talk to you all, number one podcast listeners, very soon.
Peace.